really me. It's like 70s, No, it's inspiring because that is that is a little bit the analysis we came through with all this research with Decent and DIND even before, and on the field trying to look at what actual communities that exist already with complementary currencies need really. And it's not really about a globalized network of anonymous transactions. In most of the cases, it's about a place in which sharing is caring, to quote some data love meme, a place where actually people take care of each other's needs and desires, and they don't need to hide them to each other. And that is probably a big opportunity, what you mentioned, like if we have technologies that can be somehow validated beyond the single group, there can be some sort of validation of what really happened in the history of that group, also seen from the outside, seen from the eyes of a newcomer also, then we have an opportunity. Because I have seen a lot of places, situations in which immaterial value was created, and they disappear after a while. They just go. They don't last long. They are ephemeral. They are temporarily autonomous zones. They don't keep it together also because technology is very complex, and because priorities are others, and you see them dissolving sometimes, and I think if we have some sort of protocol to really not count them. I'm not talking about an axiomatic approach to what is the agency that happens in a particular place, but at least to acknowledge its history and the values where it started, maybe ended. I mean, I'm not saying that things should last forever, ideas, groups, situations, but something to make that island of sense, that sort of opportunity for value to be created less ephemeral and systemical. And well, we are busy with software in this room. Probably I'm not the only developer. Ian spoke before me, and you're very active with that since way longer. I think that when we look at the blockchain and this sort of technologies, it's pretty good to keep in mind what are the communities that actually already share and build value, and how we can apply this sort of technology to be usable, to be reliable, to be understood, appropriated also. And then the complexity of all kinds of smart contracts, or high efficiency, speed in processing technologies, their value all of a sudden is not that much. I mean, what I mean is that if we think of progressing this technology in a social sense, and in opening a window in the history of finance that we can call social, then we really have to put on socialist glasses probably and understand what it means for the people on which this technology sometimes is imposed as a rule. No? We have to look at Europe from the eyes of Greece. This is something that many of us is trying to, and that is also beyond the rationality and the calculation of debt that is imposed on it. And it's for the good of everyone. So I think it is in a technological sense, is a political issue. And it is the one that Bitcoin is facing now with the XT fork. Make it more efficient to actually serve as a financial instrument, a payment processor, or keep faith into the community that really is building it. I'm talking about the majority of developers involved into the core implementation, being absolutely opposed to this sort of change. It might be really, and I conclude, I think it might be really cool for developers to look at technologies that offer us like, oh, a great opportunity to really make it better and faster. But always, it's good to always ask ourselves if this is not simply perpetuating the status quo, is simply being a future in the sense of a declination of the present. Because if it is, then there is nothing to come that is really new. And we must look how to change the functionality. What Bertolt Brecht called Umfunktionierung is the opportunity to change actually even the quality and the subject of the message in theater in the moment in which there is a technical improvement. So it's not about making payment processor more efficient. And there is not an answer what Bitcoin is for exactly, but I think it's to be discovered by listening to the communities. And they are out there. There's a lot of bling in every forum, you know. There's not so much paranoia. People are really looking forward to be in front of the camera like me right now, you know, like saying cool things. There's a lot of people out there that is really well capable of saying them. They create value. If you go on places like Instagram, on even Facebook, okay, we hate it because it doesn't respect us, but there's hordes of kids out there that are being way cooler than us here, and that's hard because this is a really cool room, that, you know, they really are creating value all the time. They are like generating lots of new values, new sort of relationships, new sort of fashion, whatever. So we must be capable of understanding how this happens as a mean of value creation, of almost production of sense, and not fly away with a technology that doesn't regards anymore really what's happening at the bottom. And so far, the financial technology never regarded this much. They are discovering it a little bit now with the, you know, the, how they call it, the sentiment, the sentiment analysis. But there is much more than what we call sentiment analysis behind, and it's not just about hashtags. Thank you.